Hey guys, it's Tina here. Welcome back to my channel. Now, if you guys are new to wearing false lashes, or maybe you've never quite mastered how to apply them, well then today's video is going to be perfect for you. I'm going to break down some do's and don'ts to false lashes and share with you some of my best tips and tricks. Now, I love wearing false lashes and I've been wearing them for over 12 years now. But in the beginning, I did make a lot of mistakes, and I think these mistakes are quite common, especially for those of you who are just starting out for the first time. So hopefully after watching this video, you're going to avoid these errors and you're going to be able to ace your lash game. FYI, this is going to be an in-depth lash 101 type video, so I'll leave some timestamps for you guys in case you know some of this already, but I will definitely share with you some tips and tricks that I think even like people that do wear lashes, it's actually going to help you out a lot more. So let's dive into it. So first off, before we even start applying our lashes, we need to pick the right pair. You want to pick out a pair of lashes that's going to complement your eye shape as well as enhance your eye makeup. Too often I see people wearing the wrong type of lashes for their eye shape, and ones that just take away from all the hard work of their eyeshadow and eye makeup. So make sure you don't just pick out any pair of lashes and expect it to look good on you, because it's not going to happen. So where do you start and how do you pick out the best pair for you? I know this can be a little bit overwhelming, especially because there's so many different brands and types of lashes on the market, but there are a few key things that you should look for, and I'm going to go through them one by one with you today. First off, you want to consider the length of the lashes. Are you after something more natural, or do you prefer something more dramatic? Or maybe you're going to a wedding and you want something like in between. All lashes have different lengths. If you've ever gone and had like lash extensions, you can choose the lengths that you want, and these range from like 6mm up to like 16 or 18mm, something quite long. A lot of the time, sometimes on the packaging of the lashes or on the brand's website, it will tell you the length of the lashes. Here I've got a short pair, a medium pair, and a longer pair, so you guys can see the difference. When choosing the length of the lashes, you also need to consider the space you have between your eye and your eyebrow. You don't want something that's too long that's going to touch your eyebrow, so you want something that's going to be like the right balance and that's going to complement your eye makeup. So if you're doing like a dramatic eye makeup, maybe you want a more dramatic lash that's a little bit longer. Or if you want something really natural, then maybe you want something a little bit shorter and not so like crazy. The next thing you should look at is the density. Are you after something more natural that maybe is a single layer lash, or do you want something more fluffy in 3D that's made up of multiple layers of lashes stacked on top of each other? This is what a single layer lash looks like. It's just made up of one layer. The band on this is a clear band, whilst a multi-layered lash can look like this one. This one's 3D and it's made up of 3 different layers of lashes stacked upon each other. Multi-layered lashes tend to have a bit of a thicker band because they're holding more layers together. You can even get more dense lashes that's 6D or even 8D. These have a lot more layers and tend to be a lot thicker and fluffier. The next thing you want to look at is the shape of the lashes. Lashes do come in all sorts of shapes and designs, but I feel like there's 2 main common ones. First is the round shaped lash. Round lashes have shorter strands on both sides and the longest is in the middle. This shape is great if you want to make your eyes look more open and rounded, and it's great for wide set eyes. Then there's the flare or cat eye shaped lashes. This is where the lashes start off shorter in the inner corner and then flare out and get longer towards the outer corner. This is a great shape for those with droopy, downturned eyes, close-set eyes, or rounded eyes that want to extend the shape of the eye, making it more almond shape. For me, I have hooded eyes, which means I don't have like a lot of lid space, but my eyes are a little bit more almond shape, and so I can kind of like pull off both rounded lash or a flare lash. Most of us can, but we have to kind of take note of the design of the lash. So that's the next thing I want to talk about, the design and pattern of the lash. For For me, I choose the lash design depending on my eye makeup. So for example, if I'm doing an eye makeup look where there's a highlight or glitter that I kind of want to showcase and show off, I would then pick a lash that has little spaces in between. These little gaps in the lashes will help my eye makeup peek through when I have my eyes open. I don't want to be choosing a lash that's super dense and that has like very little gap in between, because when you put them on, it just fills up your whole lid space and it covers your eyeshadow. So there's kind of like no point to wearing eyeshadow, and it just makes my eye makeup look horrible. Whereas if I wear a lash with little gaps in between, it actually shows off my makeup a little bit more. It still defines and enhances my eyes, makes them look bigger, but then it doesn't take away too much from my eye makeup. Here's another example with a lash design that has very clear gaps in between. This gives my eye a different sort of look, but it also still lets my eyeshadow shine. In saying all that, you can still wear a more like dense lash with very little gaps. When I would wear that is if I'm doing like a smoky eye, so like really dark on the lash line and it smokes upwards. And for those of you who have maybe monolid eyes, you can wear a lash that has like more density or like less gaps. This will just help to fill in that area, and as long as like you're doing like a gradient smoky eye but darkest towards the lash line, it's going to help open up your eyes. But be sure to check the length of the lashes. You don't want anything too crazy. The last thing you should consider is the material of the lashes. So what's it made of? Is it synthetic? Is it made of silk? Is it made of human hair? Is it made of animal hair like mink? Each one has a certain look. For example, human hair lashes tend to be blunt at the ends, whereas silk or synthetic lashes, they can be made to taper at the end, so this looks a lot more natural. Then there's animal hairs like mink lashes. These are fluffier and they tend to be a little bit lighter. But nowadays you can get foam mink versions that are made of synthetic fibers, so you don't have to worry about harming any animals. If you are looking for cruelty-free lashes, I do have a lash brand, Petite Cosmetics. Shameless plug right there. Our lashes are made of synthetic fibers, and we have like all sorts of different designs, shapes and lengths that you can check out online. I started this brand after many years of working as a makeup artist and struggling to find lashes that suited my own eye shape as well as my clients. So I have a lot of lashes that are more suitable for like hooded or smaller eye shapes. Plus I do have longer lengths as well if you're after that. I'll leave the link below so you guys can have a browse. But yeah, that's most of the information I wanted to cover in terms of picking out the right lashes for you. Hopefully you can get a better understanding now that when you look at a lash, if it's going to suit your eye or not. Now we can move on to applying the lashes. Believe it or not, applying lashes can be quite easy once you know the key tips and tricks and steps. So once you've picked out your pair of lashes, removing the lashes from the tray can be a little bit tricky because the lashes are held onto the tray with a bit of glue. So I know a lot of people just kind of use their nails or fingers and just pull it off, but you're going to risk ruining like the lashes and the band. So the best thing to do, instead of like just ripping the whole strip off, you want to just bend your tray, like just fold it, and then use your finger and grab it like this. And the lashes just come right off. You're gripping a lot more of the center of the lash as opposed to just a couple of strands on the side and just pulling out slowly. This would be the easiest way to remove the lashes from the tray. A lot of lashes these days can be reused, so if you plan on reusing yours, don't throw away the tray. Make sure you keep that so you can store it back in the tray to hold the shape and have the nice curls still there, so keep the tray. This might sound like an obvious one, but don't go applying your lashes until after you finish your eyeshadow. Otherwise, when you apply eyeshadow after you've got your lashes on, the fallout can hang on to the little strands. It'll make it look all like dirty, or like glitter will get stuck. So apply your lashes after you've already done your eyeshadow. Now, once you've got your lashes off, and depending on the style that you've chosen, if you've chosen like a lash with a black band like this, sometimes it can be a little bit stiff. So you want to just roll your lashes out to soften it. This will make applying your lashes a lot easier as well. Then grab your lashes. You can either use your fingers, tweezers, or an applicator for this, and you want to measure the lash against the length of your eye. So you just carefully place it over your eye, and chances are you're going to have to trim a little bit of it off. Now it's entirely up to you where you want to trim your lash. I like to trim mine a little bit on the outer corner and the inner corner, and it really depends because of the style of lash I'm using. This lash is a bit more rounded, and so I want to keep the sides a little bit shorter and more even. If I cut most of the length on the outer corner, it's going to kind of turn the lash into a flare or a cat eye shape, but it's entirely up to you. And then just double check again that you've cut it to the right length. You don't want this inner corner too close because that's going to irritate your eye once you have it on. So you want to have a little bit of a gap. That looks about right. Next up, you're going to want to curl your lashes. It doesn't have to be like a perfect curl. We just want the lashes to sort of like sit upright so that when we apply the false lashes on top, they blend together a little bit better. Before we go ahead and apply glue onto our lash band, I just want to show you the action and the placement of your mirror. And this is really important because it's going to change your lash game. Okay, so I have a little handheld mirror here, but you can use whatever mirror that you normally use to do your makeup. The placement of the mirror needs to be low. Okay, so don't have it up high like this. Like don't have it at eye level. You want to have it a little bit lower so you can kind of see, almost like you can see your lash line at the bottom here. Like you can see up your nostrils pretty much. And then grab your lashes with the applicator or the tweezer. And this is the action that I want you to do. So you're gonna have your hand up like this. You're going to flick your wrist up and then you're going to place the lash on top. So practice that movement a little bit before you actually go ahead with the glue. You never want to be applying your lashes with your eyes closed because that's going to be really difficult and you're not going to get the placement right. Also, be sure that when you do place the lashes on your lash line, don't go too close to the inner corner. You don't want to go this close because when you close your eyes, it's going to irritate, it's going to itch, and you're just going to like tear up and it's going to lift. As a guideline, if you're looking straight at the mirror, you can line it up with your pupil and go in a couple millimeters inwards. So you want to start applying the lash there. Don't go any closer because the closer you go, it's just going to itch and really irritate you. So I really want to emphasize that you should just practice this movement because that's going to really make things a lot easier. Once you've got the hang of that action, you can then go apply your glue. I'm using the Petite Cosmetics Stick With Me eyelash glue. This is a latex-free formula and it has a little brush-on applicator which makes applying the glue a lot easier. So you just want to brush on a nice amount of glue along the lash band. Make sure to cover every part evenly. And I like to just put a little bit more on the edges to make sure those areas don't lift. Now what you don't want to do is over apply the glue because it's going to make things a lot harder to apply and it's going to smear, and maybe if you have like eyeliner or eye makeup on, it's going to like potentially smudge and ruin your eye makeup. So don't over apply the glue. So that's the amount of glue I've applied onto this pair of lashes. Once you've got the glue on the band, wait a couple of seconds for the glue to get tacky. You can wave it around a little bit just to dry it off a tiny bit, because if the glue is still quite wet and you try to apply your lash, it's going to slip and slide everywhere. It's not really going to stick. So we want it to get a little bit tacky so that when we place our lash, it doesn't really budge too much. Then when we're ready, we're going to do the same action as before. We're going to sort of like have the mirror low, tilt our hand upwards. You can even like tilt your chin upwards a little bit too so you can see your lash line. And then you're going to go on top and place the lash down. It doesn't have to be perfect now, you just want to place the lash down so it's just sitting on your lash. And then we're going to position the outer corner first, so just use your tweezer or your applicator to just stick on the outer corner like so. And then for the inner corner, you're going to grab that side as well and then just make sure it touches your skin. Then you can go ahead and just make sure that the band is in place. So you notice that throughout the whole process, my eye is open because you need to see where you're placing things. Make sure you don't close your eyes when applying lashes. Now, as your lashes are drying, what I like to do is just use my finger and just like push the lash upwards a little bit. That way they dry and sit upwards so you can see the lash. If you don't do this and they droop downwards, it actually makes your eyes look like smaller and heavier. So you just wanna like give it a little nudge upwards as it's drying. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed before, but I didn't have any eyeliner on because I'm using a lash with a black band. So this is a good trick. If you use a black band lash, you can double as eyeliner, but you wanna make sure you fill in any gaps or like the inner corner to make sure that it blends in seamlessly and there's no like empty pockets. And now it looks like I have a full eyeliner on, but it's just my lash band. Now, to blend our natural lash with the falsies, I like to use a little bit of mascara. So I'm just going to pop a little bit on the root of my lashes. Now, if you want to reuse your falsies and you don't want to like clean them up too much, because if you apply too much mascara, it can clump up the false lashes. You can apply mascara to your lashes after you curl them before applying the falsies on top. Then I'm gonna grab a little like mini eyelash curler and I'm just going to press the two layers together. The mascara acts like a little bit of like a glue because it's a little bit tacky and sticky. And that's just gonna help it blend in with the falsies better. If you do wanna add more thickness to your falsies, you can apply mascara. Just be sure not to use a waterproof one because that's gonna be like really hard to get off and clean. So you can apply mascara on your falsies, don't think you can't, but it's just more like the after cleanup process if you plan on reusing them. Once you've got both lashes on and they're nicely blended, be sure to take your eyelash glue with you. Always pack it with you because you never know what can happen. You know, you might end up crying at a wedding and then your lashes might lift, or you might accidentally scratch your eye. Like, anything can happen, and so you want to make sure you have glue on hand in an emergency. For example, maybe throughout the day you might experience a little bit of lifting in the corner here. Having a brush on type glue is going to save your life. Well, it's going to save your lashes at least. You want to just press down on your lash so you can see the band like that. Get really close to your mirror. I'm doing this with one hand, but if you just have like, if you're in a bathroom, just go really close to the mirror and use your other hand to hold down the lash. And then you want to just brush that glue on to the lash band. Again, give that a little bit of time to get tacky before sticking it down. And then you just use your fingers to just stick that little inner corner back. And there you go, you've stuck your lashes back on. You can do the same thing if it's your outer corner. You want to kind of press down so you can see the band. Don't try to like go in on top to apply it because you might get all the glue on the actual lashes itself. So just hold that lash band down and apply a little bit of glue to patch it up, and then wait for it to get tacky before pressing it onto your lash line. When removing your false lashes, you don't want to just go in and yank them off. I know I've done this like a couple of times where I totally regret it because I blended my natural lashes in with the falsies, and after a long day, you know, you're so tempted just to pull that strip off, but it can actually rip out some of your natural lashes. So the easiest way is to use a makeup remover. Either pop it on a cotton pad or a Q-tip. An oil-based eye makeup remover will work the best. And then you just want to rub that against the lashes, underneath, on top, and give it a minute or two to just work its magic. You want to let it just to lift that glue up, and if you applied mascara, you just want to remove that, and you can see it just lifts right off. To clean your lashes, you want to just dissolve any of that glue on the band. And if there's any bits of glue, you just want to gently peel that off. And then grab the tray that you've kept and you want to just place it back onto the tray. So that's all the tips and tricks I have for you in regards to false lashes. I hope you have found this video useful, and let me know if you do end up trying out the application technique. I taught this technique a few years ago when I was teaching like one-on-one lessons on how to apply your own makeup. All my students and clients, they were able to apply their lashes after like one session. So hopefully this video helps you and you can start acing your lash game. And that's it from me. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and remember to turn on notifications. That way you don't miss out on any future uploads, and I shall speak to you guys next time.